My name is Annette Sweeney. I'm the Programme Chair of the Masters in Applied Culinary Nutrition, which runs in the Tala campus of the university. And this is a unique Masters for chefs, also suitable for anyone in hospitality or educators, also at course code TU280. So the purpose of this session is really to give you information on the programme and to give you an insight of what the programme is about, the modules that are involved in the programme, the feedback to date from graduates that have taken the programme, and also career paths that they've carved out for themselves by taking this programme. We'll have questions at the end. Feel free to keep your questions then until the end. So this programme was initially developed in 2015, and at the time it was a global first in culinary education. And we were delighted at that. We were the first really where we were looking at the whole purpose of the programme is to look at how we can innovate as culinarians or professional chefs, how we can innovate our food in line with trends for the future and for current needs of our consumers. So that's really the ethos behind it. So it's innovating, it's being creative around health and wellness, being creative around food and how we cook the food and how we present the food and how much we present and so on. And it's underpinned by science, and that's really important. It's designed and it's delivered in collaboration with the science department in the Tala campus of the university, and that's really important to us as well. So that gives that really strong underpinning of science as well as the culinary aspect alongside that. So we got a lovely recommendation when we launched in 2015 by the Irish Times. It was regarded as being one of the most innovative third level food education programs in culinary arts at the time. So we were delighted to have received that recognition. And we believe we're still innovating the program, and we still, you can see as we look at more trends in the health and wellness and health and well-being, that this program is very much pitched for that as well. So pitching careers for that space also. We're delighted to have Dominique Kemp and Nevin Maguire and Derry Clark as our ongoing chef ambassadors or chef patrons, and they're also a great support to us and keeping us on the right track as well. So we're delighted to have them involved in the programme. The programme itself, it's an evening programme. It's a 2-year part-time programme. So it's 2 evenings a week, and it's Mondays and Wednesdays. And the commitment there would be from 6 to 10 o'clock at night. So as a part-time programme, a lot of our graduates or a lot of our students come in from their day job. It allows them to work in their usual hours and then study at night. At the minute, one of those evenings is online, but technically we would normally be in the building for 2 evenings a week. But that's something that we would discuss with the group. So it seems to be working out well for the group to have one night in the building and one night online. So that's what COVID brought to bear. Now, very important then is what are you going to be studying? So these are all the modules, and I hope you can read the slide there. So I'm going to take you through each semester. So first of all, we have 4 semesters. And the first semester, because a lot of chefs that come onto the programme, they may not necessarily have a good basis or a good foundation in science. I mean, some of our chefs would have a lot of experience in industry and come through the programme through through a prior learning, so they get credit for prior learning industry. So bearing that in mind, we give a good underpinning of the science in the first semester. So there are 3 modules in the first semester. The first one is the dark box there on the left is applied food science. And this is where we look at all the various food commodities and look at the science basis of those and have an understanding of like meat and eggs and fish, and just a really good understanding of the biochemistry and the food science related to those products. And one of the projects actually coming out of that module would be to design an innovative product based on the science, an innovative food product. So you're using your culinary experience, your food experience, and then you're applying the science to that as well. There is an exam in that module, and it's the only module on the programme that has a written exam paper. All the others are continuous assessment. The second science module that semester is flavour science, and unique to this, it's partly delivered by a professional chef who looks at the physiology of taste, and then a flavour chemist does the science part. And that's a 5-credit module, so half of the applied food science. So basically you're looking at the chemistry of flavour, how you can develop flavours. You go into the lab to do that, and students technically like it. I mean, it's really the application of chemistry to flavours and flavour development, and then understanding the impact of flavour from the customer point of view, from the physiology of taste, and all the great science that's been done in that area with people like Charles Michel and Charles Spence. So we bring all of that into that module. The third module then in the first semester is below that, then it's food regulatory affairs. So because this is an area that's changing so much, it's so important when you're studying food that you have a really good grounding in food law. And what we find is that a lot of people that come in to do this module, that they realise what's involved in food regulation and how it's changing so much all the time. And it really gives a better understanding for the need for food law, and how it protects us as consumers and how it protects us in food businesses. So the important thing here, it's really an information module, and we reflect on our learning there. It's not that you have to learn the law, but that you would very much reflect on the application of the law to your world, to your food business, or to your area of work in food. So that's the first semester. So once you've completed the first semester, we then move into the second semester, and in that semester on the far right, you've got a box with human nutrition. So we have 2 modules in that semester. The first is human nutrition. They are 2 10 credits. So this is really where you're looking at all the nutrients and getting a really good understanding of the biochemistry of the nutrients, but also how they react in the lifespan and how they can be applied, and all the various aspects, and also the trends that are in that space, and really underpinned by science. That's really important because there's a lot of false information out there. So we really underpin anything we do with food with this nutritional science. The second module then in the second semester is the one in the blue box underneath that, and that's research studies. And that's really to look at, academic writing, coming up with writing papers, doing sensory analysis report, which we go into the kitchen for, and then a research proposal. And we do a lot of reflective writing in that module also, where we reflect on how we work and how we write within this master's programme. So that completes the second semester. The third semester then is, as a chef, we're bringing it all alive. We go into the kitchen. And the key module in this one is the Culinary Nutrition Professional Practice. That's a 10-credit module. And so what we do in there, it's very exploratory, very experimental. It's where we bring the science alive, and we're trying to see how we can bring this out in an innovative way with food and through what we create. So we would look at different aspects of food, different types of foods, different types of menus created for different types of customers. And alongside that, then you have nutrition assessment. So that's been able to bring the science then into whatever dish that you produce, and being able to design dishes for particular types of profiles or individuals. So that's really important as well. And then the third module that runs alongside that is just strategic marketing for the contemporary chef. And the whole idea there is, if you're designing a menu, you should be able to also, market that menu to your customer or to your guests. So it's really having an understanding of the marketing role when we're looking at health and wellness. So that completes the 3 modules. Now in that third semester, what's really important here is that we bring everything alive in a showcase, and it's really a performance, applied culinary nutrition performance. So where you will design a menu for the professional practice module, a health and wellness menu. You will come up with an innovative restaurant concept for marketing, and then you will then do the nutrition assessment for the menu that you design. So that really is a showcase of the masters, and it's a really exciting piece, and students love it and they get so much out of it. And some of them actually go on to use that concept and those menus to develop them further when they leave as their career choice. So that's just another aspect of how you can apply the learning in the workplace. So there are the modules, and then the final semester then is very much on your own, where you're doing an applied research project, and the emphasis there is it's applied research. We put a strong emphasis that you must use your learning from the actual program, and you identify a gap in your role in industry or your role in education, wherever you're working, where you can give back. You're using your learning to give something back. That could be you design something new, it could be a new way of doing something, it could be a book, it could be recipes, it could be testing recipes, it can be whatever you see fit as a value to industry. So it's very much applying all the learning that it brings something new to industry to change the space in line with trends. So where do our graduates go? Well, I would always say the applied research project, really, when people are choosing their applied research project, it's a good idea to have your career, try and use it to carve out your future in this space. So health and wellness for chefs, research in this space is a fairly new area. Like culinary nutrition is a fairly new area. So chefs can make a huge difference by what they do in this space, and their research can really make a big difference as well. So for example, we have chefs that are and graduates. Some of our graduates were fitness coaches, were home economics teachers, were primary school teachers, but in the main it's chefs, but it can be anybody who's really interested in food and want to bring health and wellness alive in their workspace. So health and wellness and food, we've had people who were headhunted for culinary directors of EMA organisations in the tech companies, for example, when chefs that were running their own business or at executive chef or head chef level, they're bringing those trends alive on their menus. There are others, a good few actually have taken the lead in hospital and care home catering, and it's great to see that, because I know there have been various calls for that over the years. Workplace catering leads as well, so people were working in workplace and are changing that space. One person from 2 years ago is a culinary nutrition advisor for a health organisation. And then we have the fitness coach who is using the culinary nutrition in her fitness work. Another very important development that came out of two projects actually was where one person designed an app for a particular type of diet to help them when they would be dining in various restaurants. So he's developed that, and another person used an app or technology for giving information about nutrition on his menu, and he set up a company and he's developed that further. And we have somebody else who has really branched out into gut health from a food innovation point of view, and does a weekly gut health menu at markets and is doing really well in that space. And then for those that are in education, a lot of our graduates actually go into teaching culinary arts, whether it's at ETB or otherwise. We've had primary school graduates, we've had secondary school home economics teachers who have really looked at well-being and how they could bring this into the well-being curriculum. And then we've had one graduate who really went down the mindful approach to education, to food and education. So that's how they use their thesis to carve out their future. Just to give you an indication then of where you can go with this programme. Just to give you some sense of what our graduates have been saying over the last while and how it has changed their approach to food, their learning and their design of dishes. These are just some quotes. To give you a sense. So really they see it very futuristic. They see it as paving out their future, which is really important. And that's what we would believe too, because this is here to stay. This is the future of food. Also, what they learned about nutrition and what was debunked from what they thought was nutrition. And that's a really important point, because there's so much information out there and some of it isn't accurate. So coming from a science perspective, we debunk those inaccuracies. So while they find the course challenging, it is a challenge to take on a program like this, but they find it very rewarding as well. And most graduates would say that. It's a big commitment to take on a master's program, but I think one very important point as well to emphasize, the role of the peers in the group. That's why, for me, I think it's really important that everybody gets together at least once a week, together in class, together socialising, having a coffee, so you can share the load and you can share your learning as well. That's really powerful on the programme. The whole area of the way we teach it, maybe the way we teach the culinary, is very different. It's very exploratory. It's very challenge driven. So it's you learn more that way when you learn from doing something completely new and completely very much outside the box, you know, very kind of creative, and you see your own creativity as well, and you see the creativity of your colleagues. So there are other testimonials available on our YouTube channel. It's the TU Dublin Culinary Arts Tala YouTube channel, so feel free to have a look at that. And applications are open now. I'm happy to answer an email, answer questions, take a call, to answer any queries you may have. So if you have any questions now, feel free to put them in the chat. I will try and answer them if I can. And just to say that you can also follow TUD Culinary Arts Tala on Instagram or on Twitter, and you'll see some of the activities that our students on the Masters do. So it'll give you a sense of what they've been doing. And the option is always there to talk to some of our graduates if you would like to as well. Yeah, so from a job opportunities point of view, my big message, what I would say to everybody who has applied over the years, you use your project to carve out that future, that opportunity, because through your studies you will see the gaps, and so then your project is the way where you can lead the way in that space, and that's very powerful. So you very much can lead the way in that space. Okay, thank you very much, Jenny, and thank you for joining this webinar. So please, if anybody has any questions, feel free to email me, or my number is there as well. I'm happy to take any calls and any queries. Just on the entry requirements, it's level 8 entry requirements. And if you're a chef that worked in industry, has been working in industry for a while, of course, you can apply as well through prior learning, but generally it's an honours degree as an entry requirement. The fees of the programme are 5,500, that's for the year, and they're payable in 2 instalments, 2,700 per year. And because it's a part-time programme, you can actually claim some of the fees back on your tax as well. So that's another little bit of so there's a little reduction. And if you're a graduate of TU Dublin, I know in the past TU Dublin has given a discount as well to their graduates. So every bit helps, doesn't it? So, okay, thank you. Have a lovely evening, and thank you for your interest in our programme.